Szanowni Państwo, serdecznie witamy przed kolejnym konkursem zawodów Festiwal Jeździecki Baborowko 2023, 15. jubileuszowa edycja tej imprezy. Zakończyliśmy godzinę temu konkurs 4 krótkich gwiazdek koordynatem mecenasu zawodów pana Rejana Roszkiewicza. Tam jest najwyższa pula nagród, a teraz rozpoczynamy konkurs bardzo ważny sportowy pod patronatem Lotto. Konkurs CCIO4 gwiazdki, 4 drugie gwiazdki. Konkurs, który jest kwalifikacją olimpijską, już w olimpijskich w Paryżu dla grupy C.
Ladies and gentlemen, time to begin the dressage flight for the CCIO4 long competition for the Tokyo Lotto, the FEI designated Olympic Qualifier for Group C. In 2019, we hosted the qualifier for Group C, and we also acknowledge the initiative that took it for Tokyo, which nation will celebrate this success this year. We're about to find out over the next 3 days, starting with the dressage today.
Well, a very good afternoon to Baborowko here in Poland. We are just west of the capital of Warsaw, and we have got a brilliant weekend of competition in store for you. Coordinated Olympic Group C here in Baborowko. And we kick off with the dressage phase, the first of the 3 phases of competition here on FEI.tv that we'll be bringing live for you throughout the weekend. And at the end of the weekend, one team will have booked their slot. 2024 Olympic Games. Make no mistake, there is a huge amount at stake this weekend, and we are going to get underway with Małgorzata Karycka, with 12-year-old bay mare Valencia, who will be the first of the horses to go in the dressage phase. It is the second of the 4-star test, the B test. And we'll get a real feel for it throughout the rest of the afternoon. Showing nice immobility in the halt there. Not quite straight, picking up the trot back after the rein back. The ground jury of the competition, Seppo Lane, president of the ground jury at Xavier at H, and Katarina Konoski at B. And there's a real breeze here in Baborowko today. You can just see flags waving in the background. Plenty of noise around as well. Valencia doing a good job to settle into the walk, this mare. I say hoping not to give the curse of the commentator. It's a combination who actually went to the World Championships in Protoni last year. And interestingly, that movement should be walked directly through to canter. So we'll bit for a couple of trot strides there. But a good flying change. Just losing a little bit of the quality of the canter at times. Getting a little bit tense. Come here, having run very well at Sopot as part of their preparation, as well top 15 at Stragom in the 4-star short there. The first of the Polish team riders And the end of this 4-star B test is quite tricky actually, because the test asks the horse and rider combination after their canter work to come back to trot, but then to very, very quickly go across the diagonal in the final extended trot as well. Not quite straight in the hole, not quite immobile either. But the first combination for Poland, Małgorzata Korycka and Can Valencia here in Baborowko get their test done and dusted, the first of 4 Polish team riders. And there was lots of nice work in there, just a couple of moments of tension, which I'm sure our ground jury will mark accordingly, but a lovely flying change. Difficult sometimes, depending on your position around the arena or the TV shot that we get, is to see the straightness. A really cool little mare, and we'll update you with details of her score as soon as it does come through. So what is at stake this weekend? Well, it is the Olympic Group C qualifying competition. So in the team competition, we've got 2 teams in the lineup, Poland and Hungary. And at the end of the weekend, one of those teams will have booked a team slot for Paris 2024. Poland are the first to show their hand, and Małgorzata Korycka, Can Valencia, provisional score just in 35.6 for them. So that would be about on a par as to where their scores have been trending in their recent competitions. And it gets a good solid score on the board. Next to come forward, it is a combination from the Czech Republic. And actually not campaigning a team here this weekend. Just 2 individual riders. It is Miroslav Trunda and Trunk, an 11-year-old bay mare, swinging the quarters out behind at the first halt. Putting an early moment of tension on that centre line behind them. Just see there, catching the edge of the arena as well. Just lacking a little inconsistency in the contact. Plenty of immobility, but just drops behind the vertical as they go through the rein back. It's 5 steps of rein back that movement is asking for. Seven-year-old mare, owned by Care for Horses. Miroslav also combines his eventing alongside his career as a veterinarian. Always, I think, such a useful thing to be able to have in your yard and knowledge at your disposal. Just taking the contact down there in the extended walk. Entirely consistent in the contact. And the ground jury here really looking for the regularity of the steps, the lengthening of the steps and the outline. Horses to really accept. Miroslav doing a very good job there just to keep the mare as straight as possible. Just do with being a little bit more uphill in the frame, and unfortunately not a clean flying change. She hollowed through her back, but the flying change did come. Trending around 42.7 as things stand at the moment. Just lacking a little bit of quality in the canter, almost, oh, an exuberant flying change, shall we describe it. Obviously a little bit of a point of discussion between the two at the moment. And the 4-star is a really big step up in terms of the training for horses, in so much that it does include those flying changes. And it, you know, in flying changes in the pressure of an arena is a very, very different thing to getting those in training. But a good extended trot as they come towards the end of their test. Miroslav comes to the final halt. Looks to be a nice square halt from our site as well. A nod from the mare too. So Tronkarov and Miroslav Trunda finishing their test here in Baborowko. We'll get a score for them as soon as it comes through. But 35.6 is that confirmed for our Pathfinders, for Małgorzata Korycka and Kan Valencia, the combination that represented Poland at those World Championships last year. Well, there's a huge amount at stake for the individual riders here as well, because yes, the team qualification spots are on offer, but there are also, under the qualification system for the Olympic Games in Paris, 14 individual quota places that are available, and they are basically decided by the 2 highest ranked athletes in the FEI Olympic ranking from each of the 7 groups. So we're currently here in Baborowko looking at Group C. Will qualify 1 individual quota place for each of their national Olympic qualifiers. So essentially, from those in the national and the Olympics, the 2 highest placed riders from nations who haven't qualified a team can secure a slot for their nation. And it would be said as well, they don't have to be the combination selected to eventually compete in Paris, but they would be the ones that essentially accumulate that spot. In a little bit more detail throughout the weekend, but next to come, best of our Hungarian riders. Imre Toth with Cypressi 8, 16-year-old bay mare. Owned by Christoph and Holton Zimmerman. And a combination that can score a very smart test. You just see as they halt and rein back right in front of the president of the ground jury, Seppo Lane at sea, and they're just in from the track as well, so he gets a really good overall picture of the entire horse and rider combination. Imre currently ranked inside the world's top 200 riders, and they come here having been top 10 at Sopot with a very, very good clear inside the time at the 4-star short level of competition last time out. Let me tell you, going clear inside the time cross country at a 4-star short is no mean feat whatsoever, so look out for them on the cross country. Certainly speed is something that this combination are renowned for. Wouldn't be the most experienced horse at the level, only stepped up to the 4-star level. Max just tried to have a little look around. So much going on. But Imre did a really good job in just keeping a little moment of tension, just breaking into a jog slightly before the transition. It's very difficult for horses not to anticipate that this transition is coming up. Really nice flying change. It's a really intense part of the test here. They go from the walk to canter transition, round to the first flying change, then into the canter half pass, all very, very quickly. So far, a lot to like from this test. Would be trending to go into the... Obviously very, very early days, and there's going to be a lot to jump out there this weekend. Not quite as good as the first flying change. And in the flying change, the judges really looking for it to be an accurate flying change immediately on the aids. Engagement of the hind legs. And they want it to be really straight and uphill as well. Good job in that final extended trot. Just lost a little bit of balance coming back. And a lovely square halt. And big pats for our 16-year-old Dressage 8. Just a little bit of a shame. She also popped her head up to salute to our judges at the end of that test because it was a really beautiful halt. And it'll be interesting to see their score, but I think Dressage 8 are going to likely go into the lead, so we'll get an early advantage over Poland, who currently lead the way. Małgorzata Kolicka and Can Valencia, 35.6, the ones to beat, remember. So huge amounts to like from this combination. Still relatively inexperienced at the level. Really nice way of going. Very rideable in the arena. And they certainly are trending to go into the lead. So let's just review the different teams that we have coming forward, because we've got the first of our team riders both in the leaderboard as things stand. Poland actually come forward with the allocation of 4 riders, so it will be the best 3 scores to count, remember. So Małgorzata Kolicka, Jan Kaminski, Victoria Knapp and Paweł Polskowski, whereas Hungary only fielding the 3 riders, so they won't have that traditional drop score, so every combination will count for them. Imre Toth, the first of those riders that we've seen, and Noemi Dörfer and Bellis Kaisinger next to come forward. So as the afternoon progresses, we will be with you live on FEI.tv for all of the dressage for the Olympic qualifier for Group C here, running at the 4-star long level of competition. And then, of course, this little bit later on this afternoon, we will turn our attentions to another 12 competitors lining up in the 4-star. And it's a really big weekend because actually horse and rider combinations that can tick the 4-star long minimum eligibility requirement off the list at this stage of the season. Again, looking forward to Paris 2024 really does help them plan over the coming months. So next to come forwards, it is the second of our Polish team riders, and it is Jan Kaminski with Jard, this 13-year-old bay gelding. Jan, who has had a huge success, previously won the 2018 national championships that were held in Morara in Poland. Trained with Andrzej Stobowski, who trains a couple of the Polish riders, in fact, competing here. Andrzej, a masterful producer of young horses, and then up to the championship level with Germany. And this the horse actually that Jan rode at the Tokyo Olympic Games. They finished inside the top third in Tokyo, owned by Marcin Kaminski. Lovely halt, and he really showed that off to our ground jury, because you do need to be immobile. You need to show that the halt is stationary, and Jan just took an extra couple of seconds to say, just appreciate this, because this is a really, really smart halt. Marks coming in, certainly looking like this is going to go to the top of the leaderboard. Again, another smart halt, not quite as square perhaps as the one on the centre line, but don't forget we get that from the side-on view, which really does show the squareness of the legs. That walk transition over C. And here all about the transition, the regularity of the steps, the rhythm, before they then go SF across the diagonal in the extended walk. And Yard really is extending that frame, lengthening those steps. A good shot of the overtrack from the front on view, but I would imagine that there'd be a good overtrack there as well. And then this is always a moment you can see him doing a wonderful horse up out of the extended walk without actually shortening his reins for a few moments. Didn't want the horse to anticipate that canter transition. Was a little bit too quiet. Just took a moment for the horse to pick up on it. A little bit short behind in the change, but he got it. Yard looking really, really comfortable and confident. Better than the first. It's a combination that probably have the most amount of experience of any of those lining up in this Group C Olympic qualifier. Unfortunate that they weren't able to complete the World Championships in Protoni last year. Didn't go through the final horse inspection, having had a solid cross-country round before, but Jan Kaminski and Yard have completed their test here in Baborowko, the second of our Polish team riders. And Big Patsy looks pretty pleased with that as well. He should, because certainly some really nice scores coming in, and should see him out in front. Just confirming that Imre Cypresi 8 score has come in 34.2, so that will take them to the top of the leaderboard, but it could well be short-lived, because Jan Kaminski and Yard waiting for their score to be confirmed, but looking likely to be in the early 30s. So a score score also for Miroslav Trinkarov, 43.0. So they go third as things stand at the moment. But wherever in the world you are joining us from, a very, very warm welcome. We are live throughout the afternoon, throughout the weekend, I should say. FEI.tv will be guiding you through all of the competition for this Olympic Group C qualifier. And plenty at play, because at the end of the weekend, one team will have a ticket to the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. One of those elusive golden tickets. Poland and Hungary, the two nations in the hunt this weekend. As now coming forwards, it is for Bulgaria. Peter Markev and Gascon, 12-year-old Bay Gelding. Bred by Grigor Nishev, owned by Naden Todorov. We're top 10 actually at Strigom at the 4-star long at the back end of last year. Have had some really, really good placings up the levels, particularly strong in the cross-country phase, this combination. And that would see them very, very well this weekend, because plenty of movement on that leaderboard. Just out quite sharp to the rein back. Horse quick, just a little bit hurried. Peter, 65 years of age. Over 30 years since Bulgaria had a combination represent them in the eventing at the Olympic Games. 1992 was their last individual rider. Just, unfortunately, a little bit of tension creeping into the walk. And you just see Peter tries to give the horse a little pat down the neck. It's so easy to sit here and say, you know, you just want them to relax, but actually, in that arena, the pressure cooker that is the arena, it's not always that straightforward. And Gascon not making Peter's life very straightforward through this walk at all. He'll be very pleased to get into the canter work now. Went on to his forehand through that change, but actually the change did come through pretty cleanly for him. And I would say reasonably cautious in the extended canter. Kind of get the impression Peter feels a little bit like if he gave an inch, the horse might take a mile. It's so difficult. These horses fit to run. 11 or so minutes in the cross-country phase. They know they're at a big competition. They know that the stakes are high. And yet we want them to settle down and do steady, calm, accurate work in the first phase. And it's not straightforward. Dropping the frame a little bit downhill in that extended trot, but there's a lot to like from this horse and a lot to like from this combination. And just a couple of moments of tension, unfortunately, will really affect their mark, I think, particularly the walk, which will prove to be very, very expensive. A score in, meanwhile, for Jan Kaminski and Jard, and it is 31.4, so that sees them go out in front at the moment. 31.4 the score to beat, and Poland have the advantage as well. Of course, Hungary fielding only 3 riders here this weekend, so every one of those scores will count. Poland, the other team in the team qualifier, have the full complement of 4. Still 2 more combinations, one more combination before the break. As a score in, just looking provisionally at around 42.8, so we'll go into around 4th, Peter Marchev and Gascon. Still brilliant to see them competing here this weekend, and as I say, very strong in the cross-country phase in particular, and a good performance here would see them pick up some really big ranking points. So don't forget, those individual riders in Group C are all looking for ranking points in Olympic qualifying events, because that is where they can pick up those individual slots for their federations, for their nations, to go to the Paris Olympic Games in 2024. So now to come forward, it is 32-year-old Joanna Pavlak and fantastic Frida. It's a 14-year-old Baymer. Joanna is 32 years of age, as I say. This horse that was bred by Emily, Hanoverian bred, now owned by Joanna herself. And actually a combination who were 6th in the 4-star long level of competition in Stragom a little bit later on last year, I should say. They've had some really good placings at the 4-star level. Did head out to Tokyo as part of the Polish team there. Unfortunately, didn't make it through the second horse inspection. Heartbreaking for them then, but certainly one of the more experienced combinations in the field. Quite square in the holds. Gets the 5 steps in the rein back. Now coming in to this right shoulder in, and the judge is really looking for the angle and the bend, while the steps stay really regular. Transition down into walk. It's a little bit like you just want the horse mare to take a little bit of a breath. Into the extended walk, looking for a lengthening of the steps and of the outline. The horse to really accept the contact, which this horse is. Just feel a little bit of tension bubbling under the surface, perhaps. Doing a brilliant job of keeping a lid on it. And you can just see they're anticipating the canter transition, but yeah, very, very quick. Keen to get into canter. And actually to Doing a really good job there in trying to keep a lid on it. So this is Joanna Pawlak, fantastic freed up, riding as an individual for Poland. Good change. Into the trot transition and then straight into this extended trot. Last opportunity to really wow the judges, and you can see Joanna really went for that, and unfortunately the horse just lost a little bit of balance. Just looking to keep the mare up to her work in the final centre line. And big pats, Joanna Pawlak and a fantastic Frida have finished their test, which takes us to the halfway stage in this Group C Olympic Qualifier. Some 12 combinations coming forward. Six are in the first phase. The leader at the moment, 31.4, Jan Kaminski and Yard for Poland. The second of the Polish riders, team riders I should say, Imre Toth and Cypress 8, the only combination we've seen from the Hungarian team thus far, 34.2, currently sitting in second. Małgorzata Korycka and Kavel Valencia in there in third, 35.6. And just waiting for that score for fantastic Frida Joanna Pawlak to be confirmed, but she should, by the looks of things, once those final few marks come in, move up into fourth. So halfway through the dressage phase of this, the Olympic long Group C qualifier, and we will be turning our attentions to the final two rotations of team riders, plus a couple of other individual riders after this short break. The next to go will be the next of the Hungarian team riders, Noemi Dörfer and Crystal Barney, the youngest horse in the field, just an 8-year-old. They come down the centre line at 1 minute to 3 local time. We'll be right back after this short break.
captain of the FEI designated qualifier Group C, the CCIO4 start along for the trophy of the Lotto. Our next rider is for Team Hungary, midfielder Delphi, and the 9-year-old Irish red fielding Crystal Barney by Magnus Ed. Now to the
Welcome back to Baborowko, to the second session of dressage here for the designated Olympic qualifier for Group C. It is a 4-star long level of competition. A team to the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. We're halfway through the dressage phase of those riders coming forward. And now we turn our attentions to the second of our Hungarian team riders. It is Noemi Duffer and Crystal Barney. This horse, the youngest in the field, just a 9-year-old. Irish bred by Marmasar. And a horse who's had some really good form so far this year. Top 10 in Udkarspil. The 4-star short there, jumped a superb double clear on that occasion. And just outside the top 10 in their last run at the level in Sopot. Stepping up to the 4-star long level for the very first time, but a horse that's come up through the grades. Went very well at Le Lion d'Angers as a young horse in 2021. That was as a 7-year-old, finished top 25 there. Missed the 2022 season, so great to see them back out internationally in 2023. Noemi, an unbelievably talented young rider, has spent time training not only in Hong Kong, but also over the last couple of years with the likes of Austin O'Connor, who of course recently became the first Irish rider to finish on the podium at badminton in 40 years. And of course that's a really nice way of going. Just lost a little bit of straightness, almost a perfectly square hole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps in the rein back. The leader in the clubhouse is Jan Kaminski, 31.4. The second of the Polish team riders. The first of the Hungarian team riders, of which there are only 3 competing here this weekend. Quarters trailing in the half past slightly. The first of those Hungarian team riders, 34.2, Imre Toth Cypressi 8. Really clear transition into the extended walk. Lengthening of the frame. Good over track. And now just to keep a lid on any tension coming into this canter transition. Picks up the transition directly into canter. And then this first flying change comes up pretty quickly. Quietly done. Goes for it in that extended canter, and then they really need to come back to a collected canter very quickly, because here comes the next of the flying changes. And was very short behind, just struggling to get the straightness in the half pass, coming across just quarters trailing slightly. Back down into the trot, the extended trot across the diagonal. Very brave in that extended trot, asking for plenty from this very, very smart young horse. the final centre line. Looked to have been a very just out of our shot, but looked to be square. And Naomi Durfer, the second of the Hungarian riders, their test. So we should start to get a real feel for how those team scores are starting to shape up in just a moment. Last Hungarian rider to compete at the Olympic Games was back in 1996, Atlanta. What a weekend it would be if Hungary, nearly 30 years on, could secure a team qualification spot this weekend. The two team spots go between Hungary and Poland. They're the only two nations with the full complement of riders to make up a team. As next to come forwards, it will be the third of our Polish riders. So Poland, 4 riders in their team, so it'll be their best 3 scores to count the traditional format. And it is Victoria Knapp who comes forward with Quintus 134. This is a 12-year-old gelding. Victoria, just 23 years of age. A rider who's come up through the junior ranks in Poland, been to 2 junior European Championships. Was owned by Michelle Knapp. Combination who have finished on the podium actually at Stragom in the 4-star short a little bit earlier on this year. Scored 30.6 in the first phase on that occasion, jumped a superb double clear round. They were 5th at Stragom in the 4-star long last year as well. And certainly a horse who really catches the eye. Nice uphill way of going. Looking relaxed and rideable in the arena. It's quite breezy today. You can hear the jingle of the bells, the flags rustling. Lots going on in the background. We've just seen the tension creep into 1 or 2. Ooh, not quite square. Just could have done with taking one more step. Real shame. Who's had this horse from a young horse. They've come up through the levels together as well. In the early 30s as things stand at the moment. The leader, Jan Kaminski, yard on 31.4. As the third of our Polish team riders. Halfway through their test, really rideable in that extended walk. The horse back to her. And did a good job, I thought. For just a moment they were potentially going to pick up the wrong canter strike off, but the horse just corrected themselves very easily. Late behind in the first flying change. As through as you would particularly like. Lovely extended canter, really went for that and showed a very clear transition back to the collected canter at the end of the long side too. Much better second flying change. So this final extended trot, I think the extensions are a real highlight of this horse's test. Just looked to have momentarily had a couple of moments where they just possibly lost a little bit of balance, but as a whole this horse has such a lovely uphill way of going, and a lovely final halt as well. Big pats for Quintus 134, Victoria Knapp, just 23 years of age. What a story it would be for this young lady if she can help Poland secure that team qualification to the Paris Olympic Games. They'll have another opportunity later on in the summer as well. The European Championships being held in Haradapan this year in France. But they'd certainly be among the favourites. They would be the favourites, I think it would be fair to say, to pick up that qualifying ticket here this weekend. So waiting for a score to come in for Victoria, but a score in for Noemi Durfer, Crystal Barney, 34.8. So goes just behind Toth and Zypressi, 8 to 34.2, who currently sit in second. And it is then leading the way, Jan Kaminski and Yard 31.4. So Poland just narrowly ahead in the team stakes as things stand at the moment, but still got one last rider to go for each of those teams. For Poland, for Hungary, and then we've got an individual rider from Poland in but also a rider from the Czech Republic as well. That is how the leaderboard is shaping up. 31.4, a clear lead for Jan Kaminski and Yard as things stand. But what can our next combination do? It is Matei Sugdalak and Quaid, this a 10-year-old gelding. Mathieu, just 19 years of age. This horse owned by Patrick Sugdalak. Combination were just outside the top 20 at the Young Rider European Championships in Hartbury last year. Double cleared there. To have some good form up to the 4-star level. We're clear cross country, so popped a little bit earlier on this year, which sees them step up level for the very first time in both horse and rider's career. So we wish them the very, very best of luck. What a weekend to be making your debut at the 4-star long level. Moves off from his first halt on the centre line. Back to the left half pass. Our ground jury, the president of the ground jury at C. Seppo Lane, who's officiated at many of the world's top events. Almost square halt. Mathieu Xavier Lasource is at H. Xavier, who was on the ground jury at badminton most recently, combines his passion for eventing as a top-level judge alongside his work as a teacher. And also Katerina Kanaski is at B. So 3 hugely experienced ground jury members. Just a fairly sudden transition down into walk. Quite as smooth as Mathieu would perhaps have liked. Now into the extended walk. Pick up the reins. I'm sure they know even before you pick up the reins, they feel it as they get to the end of that walk. Mathieu was quite careful, didn't take too much of the contact back. It's the first, I thought he got the first flying change. The horse then just looked to change behind again and to correct himself. As through as he would have liked. Just has a tendency to come above the contact and hollow slightly. Big horse. See the second of these flying changes. Just the 2 flying changes in this 4-star test. Better this time. Into the trot transition and then into the extended trot across the diagonal. They actually get marked for the collected trot and the extended trot as part of one movement, and then they get separately marked for the transitions in another movement. Saluting our ground jury. Just to the end of his test. Mathieu, Sugdelac and Quaid, this 10-year-old bay gelding. Combination that, generally speaking, been pretty consistent around the 40 mark. Possibly going to be a little bit higher than that today. Confirm that score when it does come through. Knapp and Quintus 134, their score confirmed 333.5, which will put Poland ahead of Hungary in the team competition as things stand. The final Hungarian rider still to come forward. Balázs Kaisinger will be coming down the centre line in around 5 minutes time or so, but at the moment it is Poland in the driving seat in this, the designated Olympic qualifier for Group C. 4-star long level of competition for dressage being held today. Of tomorrow, attentions will turn to the cross country, which will of course be live once again, FEI.tv. And then on Sunday, the final show jumping phase, we will be live with the other 4-star long class following on each day as well. So lots to bring you here in Baborowko. As next to come forward is Mateusz Kiemper and the 14-year-old mare Libertina. Mateusz, so unlucky to have missed out on the World Championships in Protoni last year, having picked up an injury. Very much can put that behind them now as they focus their attentions on this weekend. Actually riding as an individual as opposed to being on the Polish team. Libertina by Con Sherry, owned by Anna Manchak. And a combination that have some superb form, including a win at Nations Cup level at Stragom last year, where they scored 28.3 in the first phase. Second at Sompot earlier on this year as well. And you can just see this mare has a real charisma about her in this first phase. Lots of cadence in the trot. More than capable of scoring sub 30. This could well be one to challenge the leader, Jan Kaminski and Yard, who are out in front as things stand at the moment. Remember, 31.4 the score to beat, but riding as an individual. Lovely transition down into walk. Yes. Bothering her in the walk, and then you can see she's really got a little bit tense, sped up very quickly. Matthew's hugely experienced, but now just needs to keep her calm, keep her relaxed in the canter work, because this first flying change comes up so quickly. Lovely flying change. From our angle that we could see it. Such a shame, just that little bobble in the walk will prove costly on their final leaderboard mark, but all of the ingredients this horse to produce a leading score. Extravagant hind leg action through that flying change. Back down into trot. Let's see how much he goes for it. He gives it a pretty good go, doesn't he? You can really see the difference when he makes that transition back. He gets to the other side of the arena. There will be lots of really nice marks in this test, and so there should be just a little bit wide behind, possibly a little bit not square as well, but there will be lots of nice marks for Mateusz Kiempa. Fairly big moment in the walk, unfortunately. Will that cost them the lead, because it is 31.4 the score out in front. Mateusz Kiempa trending 32.1, so pretty close as we wait for those final few scores to come in. But one of the tests of the afternoon, it must be said. It's the first flying change. Did that really, really nicely. Extensions, didn't play it safe at all. So Mateusz Kiempa will confirm his score for you when it does come through, but two combinations left to come forward in the Olympic qualifier for Group C. The first of those will be Balazs Kaisinger and Clover 15. This is a 10-year-old chestnut gelding. The final rider for the Hungarian team, because they just have the 3 riders in their squad this weekend, which which means they don't have the luxury of a drop score like Poland, the other team in the team competition.
So I reflect on the starting list, both of them competing for their teams.
Balats, who rode this horse at the World Championships in Protoni last year. Over 15 by Carico, owned by Magyar Lover Sport Szövetség. Jumped clear cross country in Protoni last year. Didn't have the happiest of times in the show jumping, but it was a tough enough show jumping track. Start to their test here. Again, another combination that could easily score down around the 30 mark. Could they challenge the lead of Jan Kimmins out in front 31.4? Just one hind leg trailing, rein back. Nicely done. Looking really rideable and relaxed in the arena. Nice half pass. Looking for the flexion and the uniformity of the bend, fluency. See those legs crossing nicely over one another, which we absolutely did. Really settling down to his work, to the task at hand. Good extended walk. As he picks him back up now for the transition. Just getting a little bit tight in the neck, anticipating, and unfortunately meant didn't quite get the canter strike off they would have wanted, just got in a small muddle. And that isn't the perfect preparation for the first of those flying changes, because it does come up so quickly. But he did a good job to get through it then. Transition back to the collected canter. The transitions also, remember, marked separately to the collected and the extended canters. Down into the trot for the extended trot. Across. Wouldn't have the biggest paces, but you can make up for so much with accurate riding, not giving the judges any reason to take those marks away, and looked to have been a lovely halt to finish. Big pats for the last of our Hungarian combinations here. Balats, Kaisinger and Clover 15 as they finish their test. Be interesting to see that score when it does come through. Just have the score in for Mateusz Kiempa and Libertina, 32.0. So they go into second at the moment.
And that's the second place individually in the class right now with 32 medals.
And Sudalak 42.2, so down in 8th. But one more combination to come forward, as all of the Hungarian team riders have completed their first phase. We'll wait for a score in for Balats in just a couple of moments' time. Next to go, though, the last to go in the Olympic qualifier for Group C. We will, of course, be bringing you all of the dressage, the cross-country and the show jumping for the normal 4-star long as well. That's on clipmyhorse.tv. Here is Pavel Warshawski, 15-year-old mare Lucinda Eksani. This horse, it was by Limbus. They actually won their final preparation for this event in Sopot in the 4-star short there. Started with a dressage score of 28.2. Have regularly been into the 20s in this horse's international career. If they could go into the 20s, then they would take the lead here from final draw, the last team rider for Poland. Lovely uphill way of going, really consistent in the contact. Almost square for the halt. Pavel, who actually represented Poland at the European Championships at a Home Europeans in Strugom in 2017. It was with Fuchsia. Trending almost on a par with our leader, with Jan Kaminski. Jan on 31.4, currently trending 31.6. Still a long way to go though in the canter work. Lovely walk, good over track, really good over track. That's when the hind leg lands over where the foreleg has taken off from. Canter transition really nicely. Not quite on A, but still very cool, very calm, very collected. This flying change was good. Could well be challenging his teammate for the lead here. He goes for it in the extended canter. Horse has a lovely frame. Uphill. Really nice second flying change. That should mark really well from our judges. I would anticipate the score just dropping down. Could we even see them break into? Goes for it in that final extended trot. Pavel Warshawski and Lucinda Eksani come up the centre line for the final time. It's like resistance coming into the halt. A little bit wide in front, but salutes our ground jury and looks pretty pleased with that, and so he should, because it will be Team Poland in the driving seat after the dressage. We'll wait for these final scores to come in, but a confirmed team score for Hungary of 104.3. So Hungary, only 3 riders in their team, 104.3. It looks like Pavel Warszawski is going to just even drop into the sub-30 territory. Waiting for that to be confirmed, but just might nip under the 30 barrier, which would see him out in front of teammate Jan Kaminski, who has led for much of the way. But the flying change is a real highlight in this horse's test. So much to like, and a combination that come here full of confidence. International winners on one occasion already this year. So just waiting for that final score to come through. But all 12 combinations in the 4-star long, the designated Olympic qualifier for Group C, Central and Eastern Europe, have first phase. Poland in the driving seat in terms of the team competition. Hungary, their team score is confirmed, 104.3, currently sitting in second, just the 2 teams coming forwards. As we wait for that final score, Pavel Warszawski and Lucinda Exani should sneak into the lead at this late stage of proceedings. We have got lots coming up for you, not only this afternoon, but over the next few months on FEI.tv, because of course the Group G designated Olympic qualifier taking place at Mill Street in Ireland at the beginning of June, 1st through to the 4th of June. And then we've also got the next Nations Cup event as well being streamed for you. And that is in Strugom in Poland once again. And that sees us through 22nd to the 25th of June. We do hope that you can join us for one or both of those events. But it is Poland in the driving seat here. They lead the way in this team competition. And it's the last to go. Pavel Warszawski, who is the one to beat that score, still waiting to be confirmed, but we anticipate it to be sub-30. So we'll go ahead of Jan Kaminski and Yard, currently sitting on a score of 31.4. Mateusz Kiempa and Libertina, lots to like in their test. An expensive mistake in the walk just sees them on third at the moment, 32.0. Victoria Knapp and Quintus 134. 33.5 gives us 4 Polish flags in the top 4 riders. Then come the 3 Hungarian team riders: Imre Toth, Zypresi 8, 34.2, Noemi Dörfer, Crystal Barney 34.8, and Balazs Kaisinger, Clover 15, 35.3. But a brilliant first phase here, and we've got lots to look forward to, because I am sure it is not going to be a dressage competition. There is a huge amount at stake, not only those team tickets to Paris, but huge Olympic ranking points for potential individual slots as well. We will be continuing our coverage on clipmyhorse.tv with the 4-star long dressage, the first horse due down the centre line at around 4:15 local time. That will be Nadia Minda and Victory Hope Trail for Switzerland. So we do hope that you'll stay with us and join us for the next session of dressage. But for the Olympic Group C qualifier, we will be back tomorrow with all of the cross-country action. We'll be back after this short break though with more dressage. We do hope that you'll stick with us and join us then.
Poniżej 30 punktów Paweł Warszawski 29,7 punktu karnego. Prowadzi indywidualnie i prowadzi też polska drużyna kwalifikacji olimpijskich. Prowadzi indywidualnie prowadzi Paweł Warszawski, na koniu Lucinda X Ani 4, wynik 29,7, jest drugi Jan Kamiński, na koniu ja 31,4. Miejsce trzecie na ławce indywidualnie Mateusz Kiełpa, na koniu Libertina 32,0 i miejsce czwarte Wiktoria Kram, na koniu Windows 134. No i nie może być inaczej, skoro Polacy zajmują pierwsze 3 miejsca, no to muszą też prowadzić drużynowo, bo liczą się 3 najlepsze rezultaty. Wynik polskiej ekipy Polijeżdżemy to 104,3 na, nie przepraszam, 94,6, a 104,3 mają Węgrzy, którzy sklasyfikowani są na pozycji drugiej. Kolejny konkurs na tej arenie, konkurs indywidualny, długich 4 gwiazdek. Rozpoczniemy zgodnie z planem o godzinie 16:15.
And he confirms for Paweł Warszawski and Lucinda X Ani 29.7 and the lead in the class individually. In second place, Jan Kamiński with the odds 31.4, in third Mateusz Kiełpa with Libertina 32 penalties, in fourth Wiktoria Knap with Quintus 33.5, and in fifth Hungarian rider Imitos with Tsipras 34.2. And for the team results, a team of Ladies and gentlemen, time to begin the dressage trial for the CCIO4 Star Long Competition for the trophy of the National Sports Center for Agriculture, and we begin with last year's winner of this class for Switzerland, Nadia Minde. Last year she won with top level. This year she's running first in Victory Hall Trail, 40-year-old French, winning by Epson as a medal.
Rozpoczynamy konkurs dużych 4 gwiazdek Międzynarodowego Ośrodka Wsparcia Rolnictwa. Na liście startowej 12 par rozpoczyna nazówka, która w zeszłym roku jechała tę klasę Nadia Binder ze Szwajcarii, ale w tym roku zdaje się konia konia Victoria Trail. Fundacji Set.
And she's doing a really good job there.